So we'll show you how to add an activity first, and then I'll show you how to modify it, and then the next thing I'll show you how to navigate through the activities using the buttons. And let me just close everything that I was working on so that we can work on our new project. So here's our activity, which is empty, and then you're gonna split here, and then you can switch to code mode, and then there are two ways you can start working. It's either you can delete this entire code and make it a layout that you want. For instance, you make it relative layout or linear layout, or rather you can just put another layout within a layout like this. Let's say I put a linear layout. Layout. And then you'll see that I've already put a linear layout within a layout, and then I made it match the parents. So as soon as that was created, upon is that the layout will be the outer layout will be neglected, and then we'll be using the inner one. So let me put some code within the inner one, and then you need to set the orientation, which I'm going to make horizontal, I mean vertical. And by the way, to add a new activity, just in case you didn't see it, I'm pretty sure you guys already have an activity that opened because we already worked on other examples. So you come here on file, and then on right here on file, you click on new, and then after new you click where it's written activity, and then there are a variety of activity that are shown in the as the same as when you're opening a new project, and then you select an empty activity, and then you can name your activity however you want. I'll name it as let me just name it as sign in screen. Sign in. I sign in screen. So that's how I named it. And then we're going to put some code in it that is going to navigate to the second screen. Okay, so yes, my screen, I will just remove this. So yes, my sign in screen. Let me just make a button quickly, and some few adjustments. I will add a text view. Actually, I need to add a layout first. Please, you should be trying this so that we can work together. And then you need to set the orientation as well, which I'm going to make vertical. And then the next thing I'm gonna set the gravity. The gravity, I'm going to make it center. You can choose either one, but then I like center. So just open the activity, and then the next thing I'm going to drop some text views and the button, the text view, and then I'll add a button. before a button, I need to add a plain text, and then after plain text, I'll add the password, and then I'll add a button. You see why I'm adding it like this. So since it's a linear layout, you can see everything is organized in a linear manner and in a vertical manner. The problem is that the width is already matched with the parent here. So I'll just do this, the edit text. I'll put the button on the bottom. So you need to set margins. Margins are the spaces between objects. So I'll add some margins here, and then I'll just set it as 10. So the button is well spaced now, and then I'll set its text as sign in. Sign in. And then here, like I said to you guys, it's best we use a hint rather than a text. So I'll remove this text and then add a hint. And right on that hint, I'll write username. It's making sense, guys. And I'll also set the margins here, and I'll set it as 10. I hope you can see what the margins are doing. See, it's like it's centered now. And then on the text view, I'm going to write sign in. And then as usual, you set the gravity to center. Gravity, center. And then there's our text in the middle. So there are two ways you can give a function to the button. So the first one is by giving it an ID and then using that ID on the back end, which is a long drive. But then I'm gonna teach you the most simple way first, and then I'm gonna teach you the hard way later, or I don't know if we're gonna manage today or the other day. But then as for today, you need to set an on click. Here's how you set it. To write on click, and then there's our on click, and then I'm gonna write it as sign in. So immediately when you do that, because our on click is not registered on the Java, it's gonna give us an error. So just be sure to come and click on that very same line. Just be sure to click on the very same line, and then after clicking on it, click on this globe, which is open to suggestions, and then I'm gonna show you what to do. You say create on click event listener, and then this is what I'm gonna do. And then immediately as soon as I do that, it's gonna ask me on which activity should it be working, the on click listener. So since I'm working on the sign in, and the on clicker or the on click listener should be on the sign in as well. So I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna set it on the same activity. So this is what you do to set on the buttons activity to navigate to another button. You come here, you say you write intent. It's a method. You write intent on Java after writing on click, and then deriving it through the next activity. So you said intent equals to I, or whatever variable you'd want to name it is equals to new intent, and then you write new intent, and you close the tag. So within this intent, you write what you want the button to do. So here I'll show you how you do it. So the name of this activity is sign in.java. So you come here and write sign in. This is the initial activity that you are going to start from, and the one you're going to navigate to. So the one that I'm going to start from is sign in.java. So I'm gonna write sign in, and then you write dot this. This class clarifies that this is the activity that we are starting from, that we have an intent to move from to the next one. So this written here, it means the class, the initial class. And then I'm gonna write after signing dot this, I'm gonna write the next class that I want to open. So I'm just gonna type in main activity. You see it also assisted me. Main activity dot class. So after that, you come on the bottom and you type start intent. So you start activity. Yes, I'll start activity, and then within the brackets you write I. Write the variable that you named here. So this is what happens. This intent, it gives an action to that button that when it's pressed, it's gonna trigger this I, which will start the activity from this class to the next class, which is main activity.class. I hope you understood that, and if you don't, please tell me so that I can re-explain it. Let me just try and run the visual device here so that so that you can see it visually. By the way, my PC is more like yours, guys. That's why it doesn't really run. That's why it hardly runs the visual device. So if this doesn't work, don't worry. I'm just gonna use my phone, and I'm gonna share my screen on the phone so that you can see what happens when you start the intent and run the program. So let me just do this. Manifest. You can neglect what I'm doing as of yet. Okay. Okay, let's see what happens as soon as it finishes building. Wait for it while it loads. Might take time. Yeah, it's still building. But then I hope you got to understand this activity. What I just did here. I'll just do it again. I'll just add another button so that you can understand and repeat what I was doing. Or actually, let me just brief you. So after adding a button, you need to give it a function to open the next activity, which to give it a function, you need to write on click. This is on click. So this means that when it's clicked, what should happen? And then you write it on the XML file, and then afterwards you click on this bulb, which will be red because the on click won't be having um, a function, and then you'll say create event handler. When you create the event handler, it's gonna take you to the Java file, and then this is how it's gonna open, and then you add an intent, and then you give it a function, a variable, and then that's new intent, and then you name the initial class, which is the one you're working on, which is sign in.java. So you say sign in.this, and then the next thing you do, you select the one that you want your button to navigate to. So this is like from where it's coming from, and then this is the destination, the origin and the destination. So afterwards, you say start activity, and then you add the function. I mean the variable. It's still building. So it seems as though it's gonna take forever, but then you can just do it on your laptops, and then you generate the same code, the intent, and firstly you need to sign to create the screen that you want. You create two screens. Actually, it's activities. You create two activities, and then you create the button on the one that you want to start from for practice sake, and then you create another one where the button is going to navigate to. I don't think that's hard. And then, yeah, it's taking forever to load. I don't know why my PC is so slow. Nice. I think now we will be able to witness what I'm talking about. So this thing takes time if you're using a small PC like me. Yeah, it's done building. Let's just wait for it to open on the visual phone. Our phone is just blank and dark. I don't know why. But then here it's saying it's launching the app. Yeah, I'm having a problem with the virtual device. Should have opened already. Anyways, that's how we do it. So let me just show you the second way, because this is taking forever and we don't have that much time. So the second way is by giving, since it's a button, it already has an ID, so you can give it any ID or identify it however you want. So I'll just give it an ID as sign in button. So here's how you import your ID on the Java from XML to Java. So you come on Java, you say within the main class, see button, then I hit enter when the button's open. So here's a button, and then I hit enter, and then I name it. I give it a different ID, say button or whatsoever that I want. So I'm gonna come and open on this class, and then I'm gonna say button, which is this small button, like the variable ID. So I'm just gonna say button is equal to, I'm assigning it to a value now. So you say find view by ID, find view by identity, and then say r dot ID dot, you name the ID of the object or the button that you want, which in that case it was sign in button. As you can see, this is the sign in button, the one that we were working on, which is now connected from the XML and then to the Java file. So the next thing that you do, you say button, use this variable that you gave to the button, say button. So you can also write maybe button X or button whatsoever you want. It's the same as thing you used to do when you wrote int I or into X, into Y, it's the same thing. So I'm saying button dot, you'll see the event listeners that we can get. So I'm just gonna say on click. So there's on click you click, you set on click listener. This has on click listener and many others. So you set on click listener, set on click listener, and then on set on click listener you type new, and then you hit enter when you say view on click listener, view dot on click listener, and then you get a function which is this. So after getting this function, you write the very same code, which is intent I, new intent I, and then that's sign in. Let me just repeat it. So you type in, like now I'm saying the button, that ID written button is supposed to have an on-click listener. It's the same thing as this, but then this is much complex than what we did first. But then this is much convenient because you know the identity of what you're working on. So I'll just type in intent, which is intent. Intent is like yeah, it works in the same way. Like intent is what you say on English, like what's your intent, what you wanna do. So I'm saying the button, what does it wanna do? The button has to do something like, okay, intent, this is what it has to do. New intent. So the button has to do this. It has to navigate from this from this class to the next one, which is main activity dot class. So that's exactly what it is going to do. It's going to navigate from this class, the class that we're working on, to the next one, which is the main activity, or whichever you might want to be redirected to. And then you close a method, and then you write another method written called start activity. This method is going to trigger the activity that you're working on, and then that's it. That's how you navigate from one screen to the next one. And then you see it's not recognizing I the same way I did here, because the variable I gave to this intent was I, but then the variable I gave to this intent was intent. So I'm gonna write intent here, and then it will be recognized the same. Let me try to close this emulator and try to rerun it. Maybe it will work. Let me just try to hard boot it. Cold boot, and then wipe data. Now let me try and run it and see what happens. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's it. You can try it using your phones or the virtual device, but on my side, the virtual device is having problems. I don't know why it always have problems, but then that's how easy you can navigate through the screens. If you don't understand, I have recorded the class. I'm going to post on YouTube, so you'll just watch and repeat the steps if you don't understand. And to add a new activity, I'll repeat this. You save file, and then you click on new, and then you click on activity. You select whatsoever that you want to click on. But then be sure that if you are clicking in on any other than empty activity, you have internet access, because you're gonna get errors. So you do this, you select empty activity, and after selecting it, you gave it a name. You give it a name. It can be a sign-in activity, it can be settings, it can be main activity, it can be notifications, whatsoever that you want. um as you can see, like, I have many activities here. This is what I did. I have an about fragment, like, I was using fragments here, which I'm going to teach you later. So yeah, th- these are just the things that I was working on. So this is it for today's class. My emulator is not responding. I was gonna demonstrate how it's gonna move from one activity to another through those buttons. But then it seems as though my virtual device doesn't wanna volunteer. So I guess I'll see you guys on the next class, and I'm gonna teach you one other thing. We're gonna be moving to the next lesson, which is connecting the database to the phone, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, to the app that we're creating. So as of yet, good night, guys, and thank you so much for attending. Bye.